Hello, America. Tonight, we have a studio audience, and we have a special show tonight and tomorrow. Tomorrow is college students that are frustrated, and you're going to love it. You're going to love tomorrow night's show. Tonight's show, I hope that it will inspire you to action. When you look at the headlines of the day, these are just the headlines of the day. Churches burn in Egypt with violence. Gas prices edge up again. NATO steps up bombing in Libya. Why are we targeting Gaddafi? Are we just assassinating people now? Is that, I mean, Pakistan, the rift widens. What a surprise that is. Greece hit by new downgrade. Reports of mortgage fraud reach record levels. Oh yeah, we fixed that, didn't we? Mississippi town maybe wiped off the map with a flood. Postal Service reports $2.2 billion loss. Fannie and Freddie, what is it? Fannie is up to $9 billion for the quarter. You look at all of this stuff and you think, what the heck is going on? And what can I do about it? Today the story was about the rapper who has a special affinity for cop killers, being invited to the White House on Poetry Day. For the love of Pete, what are we doing Poetry Day for? Common is his name. Now, Common, I don't know anything about this guy. He might be great, might be fantastic. I don't really care about his music. I don't care. I don't care. But there's more to this story. Here's a guy who's attended Reverend Wright's church since I think he was 8 years old. Came to Reverend Wright's defense in 2008 when they were saying, hey, is this a problem? The president is going to church with this guy? He said, quote, I've been going to that church since I was 8 years old. So what he's doing is giving people an understanding of a man's perspective that grew up in the era of racial prejudice and has since progressed. Really? That's progress? The only way we're going to progress is to not judge and not quickly become offended. Yeah. Okay. Well, here's the guy that performed last night at the White House, despite many objections to this form of art or poetry. Here's one of his songs that's in question. Listen.
In the spirit of God, in the spirit of the ancestors, in the spirit of the Black Panthers, in the spirit of Assata Shakur, we make this movement towards freedom for all those who have been oppressed, and all those in the struggle.
Okay, so we have So we have the oppressed here. Again, we have the Black Panthers and Assata Shakur. Who is that? Who is that? Not a household name to most people, but a household name if you happen to be a radical leftist. And who isn't in Washington or Hollywood anymore? You also might know the name if you regularly check the FBI's most wanted list. There she is, Assata Shakur. She's adorable, but looks can be deceiving. 1973, wanted for committing several felonies, including bank robbery. When the New York State Police pulled the car over, her and her buddies were there, and her buddies are from the militant Black Liberation Army. Where have we heard that one in the news before? The BLA members started a shootout and killed the state trooper. Assata was sentenced to life in prison, but somehow or another escaped in 1979. She's now living in Cuba, where they have, Michael Moore tells us, the greatest health care of all time. She's writing books. She even co-authored one with cop killer Mumia Abu-Jamal. Gee, where have I heard that name before? Bill Ayers and Bernadine Dohrn named one of their children Zayad after the BLA member who was killed in the Assata shootout. Rapper Common named his first child, middle name Assata. But Common wants you to know that his love for the police cannot, quoting, cannot be questioned. The one thing that shouldn't be questioned is my support for the police officers and the troops that protect us every day. Really? You're right, Common. You can't question it. I know exactly where you stand with the police. So he ends up being a guest at the White House. Again, freedom of speech. I think the guy's a dope for that song. I don't know the rest of his music. It all might be wonderful and rosy and whatever. But it's not about Common. It's not about some rap star. It's not about music. It's about the President of the United States setting a standard and a pattern. And the pattern is, remember the President said, when he talked about his friend in Cambridge, the arrest of his friend Harry Louis Gates Jr. Do you remember what he said about the police?
I think it's fair to say, number one, any of us would be pretty angry.
Mm-hmm.
Number two, that the Cambridge police acted stupidly.
Okay, so the Cambridge police acted stupidly. And remember, what he said before that is, I don't have any of the facts, but the police acted stupidly. Then he hires Van Jones, who supports cop killer Mumia Abu-Jamal. Now, I don't know if you remember. Can you get a tight shot of this one? Maybe, Oscar, we get that? Mumia Abu-Jamal is the guy who killed this man. Point blank range, just shot him in the head. So the president also surrounds himself with the people who accept the actions of the Weather Underground. He goes to Jeremiah Wright's church that views the police as oppressors. He has Richard Trumka, the head of the AFL-CIO, the most frequent visitor to the White House. AFL-CIO California, they are the teachers union, and they've now come out and endorsed Mumia Abu-Jamal, the guy who shot Danny Faulkner. The president's actions clearly indicate that he is anti-cop. Now, you can do a photo op all you want. He did it today. Look at me, I'm with the cops. Yeah. Got a problem with that, Mr. President, because it's just like Bill Clinton when he said, Monica Lewinsky, that scandal doesn't matter. I don't even know what sex is. I could have been sharpening a pencil. I might have been having sex. What do I know? It did matter because oral sex became no big deal to kids. The president influences our culture. The president sets the table and the standard. And the standard when it comes to killing cops needs to be zero tolerance. Violence against the police, zero tolerance. And there's another thing that doesn't make any sense to me. The lyrics from the rapper Common says, I hold up a peace sign, but I carry a gun. He talks about guns all the time. Now, wait a minute. Hang on just a second. Isn't this administration anti-gun? Aren't we supposed to get rid of all the violent rhetoric? Why? Why on all of the people? What, Maya Angelou's not around? All of the people. You got this guy. Okay. See, I get worked up. I hear news like this today, and I get worked up. So you have a choice. You can get angry. You can protest. You can march. People do all those things. And then you vote for new people, and then nothing really changes. And the more things don't change, the more upset and helpless people feel. I mean, who are you going to call on this one? I mean, what happened to common values that we don't hold people up that are standing up for cop killers? So people either get angry, which is very dangerous, or they tune out. That's equally as dangerous. You have a third option. You can find a way to make it a positive. Now, I don't really know. I've been thinking about this one all day. I'm wearing the button of Danny Faulkner today in support of the cops, not those that kill them. But maybe you can do something for your kids, with your kids. Maybe you can reach out visibly with your kids seeing you to your local police. Maybe you could reach out to their unions and educate the unions on what's really going on with the left in this nation. Did you see last night's episode? Last night's episode with the lady who is a liberal Democrat who believes in social justice. We were like buddies last night because she sees it. She's like, it's been hijacked. Radicals are killing us from the inside. It's not what people who are half asleep think it is. Last night I got back home and I was standing in my living room. I have an apartment here, and I was looking out at the skyline of the city. And I was hit with the realization, as I usually am when I look at this city, of how many people are clueless, how many people have tuned out, how many people are just walking around in a fog as if everything is fine, we're fine, we're fine, we're fine. Are we really? Really? What's being done about these things? Geez, we have 37,000 people killed on our border, and our president is making fun of it. The debt ceiling. It wasn't too long ago that Timothy Geithner came out and warned that there would be, and I'm quoting, serious hardships and would spark, quote, a catastrophic economic consequence that would last for decades if we didn't raise the debt ceiling on time. Well, Tuesday and Wednesday, the Treasury Department auctioned $56 billion in new debt, pushing us through that ceiling. Monday, it officially happens, and nobody's saying anything. Why? Not a care in the world that we, according to Geithner, are about to suffer catastrophic consequences. Or are we? Because now he says we're fine. He said, we're good till August. I found some money. I don't know. I think I left it in my other suit. Excuse me? Where'd we find this money? Is that the truth? Or are you lying? Were you lying now, or were you lying then? Are you telling us the truth? I don't even know. Who do you trust? Who do you trust? I get a pit in my stomach when I think of the Americans that are, how few are actually engaged, who are actually using common sense and reason. How can you see the news every day and just shrug it off? Part of it is apathy. We've been bought off with materialism. We've been misdirected, but also our entire lives, we've just said it's America. That's not going to change. America, America's America. I was just in Israel, got back yesterday. I was there for Memorial Day, and then Independence Day. Monday was Memorial Day, and then the next day was Independence Day. That's the way you should do it. Reflect on the people that sacrificed their lives for your freedom. They don't just go out and see some fireworks and have a hot dog and call it a night. I was in right there, that's the Temple Mount, and I was over there by the Western Wall. And as I saw them douse the flame for the memorial and then start the celebration, and they were praying, and then they started singing songs, and they were excited, they were grateful. You could feel it was joy. It was joy that I felt. I thought about this, I thought, I've never felt joy, real, true joy like I saw there on Independence Day. And the difference is I don't know what it means to lose my country. I mean, I've been moved on Independence Day, but not sheer joy like I saw over there. It is weird to say this, but I was overwhelmed with a feeling yesterday that I feel safer in a way in Israel than I do here. Because there's an awareness there that is missing here. They are wide awake. That tends to happen when somebody's always trying to blow you up. Here we're in denial. If you're on a ship that's sinking, would you feel safer with the people who are on the deck, who sees what's happening, and they're saying, okay, come on, everybody, what can we grab? Or do you feel safer with people inside at the bar laughing and drinking, oblivious or in denial, as you see the ship and everybody's like, don't worry about it. Which do you feel safer? I'd rather be on the deck. I realize this show is widely considered in liberal circles, in liberal New York Times circles, a bummer or downer or depressing, whatever. My wife, this is true, this is how sad my life is. My wife says to me every time we go to a party, and we rarely go to a party because I am to parties what rat poison is to rats. But my wife always says, please don't make everybody cry. I know the truth can be miserable. The truth shall set you free, but it will make you miserable first. But it's what you do with the truth that matters. What you're learning, what you're seeing every day is depressing. So you're going to tune out, or are you going to decide who you are? See, when you bottom out, when you realize the truth, then you've got a choice to make. Are you a survivor, or are you a sheep that just happily goes along to slaughter? I'm a survivor. I think you are too. That's why you're here every day. And the more you connect with others and start talking to those who are on the deck, looking over the edge, seeing the water, and somebody else is saying, come on, get back to work, you will start finding the answers of what's true. Those who refuse to accept what's happening will find comfort in numbers. They'll make fun of E4, enlightenment, education, empowerment, entrepreneurship. Enlightenment. Find out your relationship. Why are you here? Education. How did we get here? Empowerment. I make a difference. And entrepreneurship, be creative and do something positive. Don't tear things down. Build it up. while you're doing this, others will be sipping brandy as the bow of the boat just sinks further and further into the deep blue sea. That doesn't work. You have to make a positive change and decide who you are. Tonight, I'm going to prove to you that the individual does matter. These stories, all of them, when you put them together, it's overwhelming. No matter how small or seemingly insignificant, you making a difference in your life does make a difference. It's the sum of E4 when it's put together that works. Education. Something as simple as preserving history. It's being rewritten right now. Who is saving it? I was on the phone this afternoon because I was in a meeting preparing for the show this morning, and one of our assistants brought in a stack of stuff. It was amazing. It was, you guys know who Carl Sandburg is? He wrote the Lincoln books. His good friend was one of the biggest collectors. He was like David Barton in the 1800s, and he collected everything, all these pictures and everything else. A viewer of this program has that collection of George Washington, all of the engravings and the pictures of George Washington from 1700s. He sent them to me today to preserve them. It was overwhelming. I called him up and we talked for a while, and he said, we've got to preserve our history. We have to do it. You have to see this. You'll find it at glennbeck.com. Before I came over, I shot a little video of this collection, this guy. I mean, it's amazing. You can educate others. It sounds simple, and it is. But if it's not done, we lose it. If you've been sitting on the sidelines, you've been getting a nudge to do something, but you held back because you feel like it's stupid or you don't really know what to do and it doesn't seem like it'll make a difference. I want to show you the people who felt just like you do now, but decided to get into the game. As an individual, it will seem small, maybe even silly, but as a group, you'll change the world. In fact, maybe you'll fundamentally transform it. When we come back, I'm going to show you the living proof. People who have changed their own lives, who I believe will change the world. The things that they're doing, and some of them risking to do it. Next.